Rebecca Harms, thank you very much for accepting our invitation. We would like to ask you a few questions about the Vilnus summit, because it's already the year of frustration. People say that there will be no glorious outcome. So do you think really the conditions of the European Union were fair, that they put the destiny of one politician, however important it is for the country, Yulia Timochenko, and the nation's destiny all together in one pocket? So is it fair, the major condition that Europe imposed?
So the European Union is asking for the rule of law in Ukraine as a condition for signing the association agreement. The European Union is really engaged against a politically motivated selective justice. So these are good reasons to have arguments with the government and the president of the Ukraine. And vice versa, I would like to ask you whether it's fair that President Yanukovych and some politicians of the Party of the Regions are making their political competition or their hate against Yulia Timoshenko the reason to cut the whole of Ukraine from European integration.
But wasn't there a fault of European Union right from the start? Because when there was an Orange Revolution, it was the greatest enthusiasm of Ukrainians, and they looked upon Europe with a hope. So why Turkey is a country candidate and Ukraine not? Why this candidacy wasn't offered in a due time?
So I would agree that the European Union in the first years after the Orange Revolution really failed to go for a deeper cooperation and engagement with and in Ukraine. So they did not take really serious in Brussels or in Paris or in Berlin what happened in Ukraine. Their eyes were always in Moscow and not really in Kiev. Yeah? And this was a time of missed opportunities to prepare Ukraine better for this association agreement. On Turkey and the comparison, so to be honest, yes, it's good that we have the negotiations with Turkey. The negotiations are pushing the country also in the good direction, but I honestly don't see that during the next years or legislation we will have an enlargement of the European Union. A condition for further enlargement would at first be a deeper political integration of the European Union.
The last question. Was really Europe prepared to enlargement, serious enlargement, after the fall of Berlin Wall? Because we have now a sentiment that there is no real strategy, because they're promising something from one side, there is a debate, a verbal debate, but from the other side there is a strong lobby in countries like yours, in Germany, in France, in Italy, in Spain, where, for example, agricultural sector is afraid of Ukraine entering fully into the European space. So is it a failure of Europe to have a strategy? Do we really have a strategy for the neighborhood and eastern partners?
So I don't know whether everybody has it. I personally, as a member of the European Parliament and responsible for Ukraine and a friend of Ukraine, with many other members in this European Parliament and also people in the European Commission, people in foreign affairs ministries across Europe. We prepared the association agreement. We prepared the grounds for Ukraine coming closer and closer to the European Union. I think it's a good way, and Timoshenko was the politician to start this process. And for me, therefore, it's self-explaining that we want her out of prison before we sign the agreement.
Is Russia also to blame?
So Russia obviously now tries to stop not only the association agreement with Ukraine, but also a better functioning of the Eastern Partnership. And so the European Union, so far, my understanding of the situation, is not really prepared to protect the countries east to our borders to make their own decisions about the direction of their development.
Thank you very much, Rebecca Harms.